this.
Hello, my name is Fergus. I'm from Ireland. I'm a double Tekken Motor finalist and I'm here to teach you Josie Resell. Before we start, be sure to subscribe to DashFight for more character guides and check out their website for all things FGC. So in this section, I'm going to talk about Josie's key moves, what moves you'll be using at neutral with her. So let's start with her jabs. Okay, so her jab is pretty average, I guess. It's pretty standard, you know, +8 on hit, +1 on block. It's pretty standard. The good thing about Josie is that she has a 1-4 poke. This jails on block, so you cannot duck it, and you can hit confirm it into 1-4-3. So this is a really strong hit confirm. Like, think of it as a bit of a harder mission at 1-1-2. And that you can hit confirm the jab string, so it's really important to be able to do this because it gives Josie a lot of damage off her jab. So that's where you want to use the one. Now she has a bunch of little gimmicky jab strings out of it, like this her 10 frame punish for example. She has a low extension, she has a mid extension, you know, but I wouldn't focus too much on them, but they are there if you want to like kind of test your opponent a little bit. So let's talk about Josie's kind of main standing poke, so her standing 3. Now Josie doesn't have a traditional Danforth one, so her standing 3 is going to be your main poke. Now standing 3 has really nice range. As you can see, it's 13 frame. On block, she follow-ups wise, she has 3-3, which is only -1 on block. The whole string is natural on counter hit, and if they're looking to duck this, you can do 3-3-2. And if the 3-2 connects on counter hit, it's a natural combo. And the whole thing is natural as well on counter hit, if the 3 is also counter hit. So when you condition them to kind of respect Josie's like follow-up options after 3, you can start doing the cancel out of 3-2 into hold forwards. So you cancel the 2 into the CD transition, which means you can go for the CD3, CD2, or CD1+2 to keep plus frames on. So like Josie's whole thing is like making her opponent respect the follow-ups and going for the transition mix-ups. Or you can just dash in, do a feint, and then go for more pressure like this. So the next move I want to talk about is her Magic 4. Now obviously her Magic 4 is important, like any Magic 4. She gets a full combo off it. So if the opponent likes to disrespect Josie or overextend under pressure, you want to use her Magic 4 to keep them honest. Unlike other female Magic 4s, Josie's Magic 4 is 12 frame compared to the others at 11 frames. So it's a bit slower, but still a must-use Magic 4 for Josie. Now another move you want to use with Josie, you want to spam it with her as well, is Dan 4. Dan 4 is actually a safe poke against most characters in the game. Now some characters can punish it, but not all. So Dan 4 is a definitely must-use poke because it tracks really well. It's +1 on hit, and like I said, it's only -10, so it's pretty much safe against a lot of characters. So this move you want to spam a lot. Like it's designed to frustrate your opponent and make them make a mistake. So definitely Dan 4. Another move that you must use with Josie is Danforth 4. Now Danforth 4 goes into switch stance on block and on hit. Like, I will talk about switch stance in the next section in a bit more detail, but Danforth 4 is the main way to go into it, and I'll explain a bit more. Another move that she got, now this isn't season 4, it's a new move in season 4, is her 1+4. If you know Julia's War Drums, you can kind of treat it the same. So it's a low high that goes into switch stance, so you can go this CD, the CD transition, or you can do switch stuff from it. So similar to like Danforth 4, right? Or 3-2 for example. So, and if you space it out, let me demonstrate. If you space it out, so only the low connect, the switch one is guaranteed a normal hit, and there's a bunch of setups that allow this to happen. Another move you want to use is 4-4-4 for sure. So 4-4-4 is her homing move. It's a counter hit launcher as well, as you can see. So this is definitely a move you want to use with Josie to kind of like approach with, and it knocks down a normal hit, it wall splats, so it's a pretty nice move to have in general. Another move you want to use with Josie is forward 3+4. Forward 3+4 because it's a normal hit knockdown, 16 frame. It's a counter hit launcher. So you want to use this near the wall especially, and after stuff like 1-2-2 on hit into forward 3+4 check. If the press or duck here, they will get hit. Now let's go over CD mix-ups. So CD3 is approaching low, a lot of range, really good tracking, +4 on hit, on counter hit, and knocks down. So you want to make them like you want to force them to respect you in your transitions in order to eat this, for example, right? So to complement CD3, you have CD2. Now this is a bit of like a Hail Mary mix-up, because it is -14 on block, so it's quite unsafe. But if you have a read that your opponent's going to duck, you have CD2 as an option to catch them. And if you want to stay safe, you have CD1+2, which is plus on block, if I make the opponent block it. So it's +5 on block, so it's pretty good to have on block, right? So if you want to keep her pressure, you don't want to commit to anything, so you want to like just keep your momentum up, CD1+2 is something you can do. FC Downfall 4 is Josie's FC option from crouching. This is kind of like a bigger power load that she has, and on counter hit she gets guaranteed follow-ups, and on some characters she actually gets a situational combo on some characters to complement FC Downfall 4. You have stuff like while standing 4, while standing 3, which is a knockdown, especially near the wall, is pretty good. So yeah, that kind of covers about all of Josie's kind of main moves that you want to use at neutral. So let's talk about switch stance in the next section. So I talked about Josie's switch stance in the last section, like very briefly. She has a few moves that goes into it. For example, like 1, 2, 4, down 3, 4, and switch, or whatever, right? 1+4 switch. Now these are like not so good transitions into switch. However, down for forward, like I mentioned last section, is her main way to go into switch stance because it's a 14 frame mid. It's fast frame mid, it's 14 frame, it's chunky. On block you get a mix up, on hit you get a better advantage to go into the mix up as well. Now, what do you do out of switch stance? Okay, now the metagame behind switch stance is that you want to force them to respect you so you can start going for other things, right? Because all except for one option, the opponents can interrupt everything, right? Except for switch 1. Now switch 1 is a counter launcher. So this will beat everything they try. So even if they try to down jab, or they try to armor through, or they try to rage art, switch 1 will win, right? However, the risk associated with that is that the opponents can duck and launch it. So when you make them respect Josie on block because of the switch 1, then you can start going for things like switch 3, which is a low. It's a counter launcher as well, which is a bit rare to happen, but it is a counter launcher. It's a homie low, minus on hits. You have switch 2, which is a mid option that you have. You have switch 4, not so useful because it's quite slow. So your main mix-up would be switch 2 and switch 3, right? It's quite hard. You can't really fuzzy that, to be honest, right? And you can also delay all the options as well. So if they're like kind of fuzzying, you can also delay your options. So you're using switch 1 to make them respect you, and then you start going for your options. There's something else you can do as well. You can do hold forward to go into the crouch dash transition. Remember I showed you like the kind of CD mix up before. So you have CD3, you have CD1+2, you have CD2. So you have a few options that have crouch dash mix up. So when you force them to respect you, force them to look out for these kind of things, that's when you can start like kind of delaying your time a little bit. You don't even have to commit to the transition or commit to the CD mix-up. You can just go out of it and then start bullying them as well. So switch 1 is there purely to make them respect you. It is quite risky, but that's what it's used for. So yeah, that's kind of like the whole switch mind game in a nutshell. It's supposed to just kind of frustrate the opponent, make them pick something on block because she's very plus going into it. She's plus 11 going into it. The risk reward against some characters is a bit skewed, but that's kind of Josie in a nutshell, right? She's supposed to kind of frustrate the opponent, make them press into her stuff eventually, and then she gets some damage out of that. And make them force them to respect her, so you can start going into bigger hits and bigger openings. So yeah, that's kind of switch stance in a nutshell. I would say for strengths, Josie's biggest strength is definitely her punishment. Her 10 frame is crazy. She has a damaging 12 frame wall splat. Her 14 frame is really beefy. Her while standing 4 is okay. Her while standing 2 at 13 frame is a full combo, so she's really good in some matchups, especially like Dragunov or people rely on a 13 frame low. And her down 2 is really good for whip punching, as it has really good range. So yeah, Josie's strength is definitely her block and her whip punishment, so playing defensively with the character can definitely work out. And she also has this for 11 frame as well, into a down forward that you can't low parry afterwards, for example, because you don't have to frame advantage too. Other strengths would be like her lows are decent, because down 4 is pretty good. You know, it's a safe low, it's fast, it tracks really well, so she's really good at kind of like frustrating the opponent. Her kind of offense is, it's okay. Like I mentioned about the switch mix-ups, you know, I explained all of that. And the fact that she can go into cancels, you know, into feints, or go for crouch shots mix-up, you know, she's good at making the opponent freeze up, allowing Josie to kind of like loop her offense and keep the pressure up and keep the momentum up. So she's really good at doing that. However, I say her weakness, however, though, is that the opponent knows and understands the switch mix-up. It can actually be very dangerous for Josie risk-reward wise, because like I said, you can duck this to launch her, and the biggest reward that she gets out of conditioning you, at the risk of being launched herself, is landing a CD3, right? So risk-reward in some matchups can be really against her. Against turtles, it can be difficult because she doesn't have a big, strong mix-up low, right? And her tracking, especially to size that right, isn't that good. So if she hits you, it's kind of hard for her to keep up the pressure at plus frames, because a lot of her main tools can be stepped, which is why it's encouraged to use down 4. So people who know the matchup will kind of exploit this from Josie. So yeah, that's why I say her strengths and her weaknesses would be. You can also check out all the things shown in this video in the text version via the link in the description. If you like this video, please leave a like or comment below with your thoughts, and thank you for watching.
Get ready to fly! Take this, your finish! Oh, I can't believe I won!